Today we travel to the Arctic icebergs of the Sunset Sea, where we build a futuristic aviary. In part 1, we reveal the #1 most powerful building piece in Ark and unlock that power to turn a simple hexagon into a beautiful spiral foundation. Then in part 2, we invent polygonal tubes we can use to travel to the top of our aviary. You'll love polygonal tubes so much you'll never use another ladder, especially when you see who fits inside a polygonal tube. In part 3, we add a warm, safe base and fill it with everything you'd need to live on the edge of the world in an Arctic outpost base. And finally, in part 4, we will ascend to the top of our structure. There we will design and build a stunning glass aviary inspired by a birdcage, complete with 3 Argies, 2 Pteranodons, and 1 truly underrated Pelagornis, all at the behest of the mysterious Aviator. Join me, geeks, for Ark Building Ascended. Another day on the iceberg. Welcome back, geeks. We're going to hop out here for a quick moment of zen later with the moon, but right now I'm going to use my scope to find, yeah, that's right, the Aviator. Just always hanging around. You're friendly now. Scared the poop out of me earlier and I did not like it. Yeah, we were walking down to check out his new sign right here, right on the edge, and I looked up at my structure, you know, usual, right, checking it out, and then next thing you know, that's right. Back off, dude. Back off, Aviator. We'll get your project done. We'll get it done. But the sign tells you a little bit about why he's grumpy. The flight deck can wait. My buds are coming to play tonight, and I want the first floor done. This is not an art show. Make me a darn base, UTC. And indeed we will. Indeed we will. Today we get to work on the lower portion of this build, going off to construct an Arctic outpost. You want an aviary, fine, but it's gonna wait now. It's gonna wait. We have work to do. You've given us fabricators, generators, everything you need for the inside of a base. Industrial forge. We'll do a cooking area and a crafting area as well. We'll get everything sorted out today. There is lots of work to do in a project this big. We want to make room for every station. So this sign is going to have to go. We are going to reshape our dodecagon so that instead of having 2 walls on every side, it's got a bunch of big walls. So there'll be walls of 3 with walls of 1 in between. And we're going to get these gorgeous little glass hexagons, which is great in this biome. And what we want to do is build something that's still going to look good and isn't going to mess with our spires. So we'll give ourselves lots of ground space so we don't need to use space vertically. And I think it's going to be nice. I always like to back up and take a look. I think everything is looking good. We're going to be able to build up a little bit, and we'll just reach the edge of the spires where they go off our platform. We could build straight up and it would look good, but I'll build up a little and then we'll taper in, I think. You can start on the outside with these guys and we'll look and see, but I don't think this is going to be a good fit because, well, we're building over a square, but I think we'd have to build a square over a triangle or something like that in order to make this work out evenly in the middle. Are you going to intersect? Everything's going to intersect because at this level, our spires are on different snap points than our foundation, and we want to keep the foundation this way. So I think rather than starting on the outside, we'll move to the inside. I did not record a portion where I added in these hatch frames and these sloped glass walls, but now we have a little central room. It's access to our polygonal tubes, and it looks good from the outside. And rather than starting our design out here and trying to match it up to the center, we're going to start in the center and match it up to the outside. For me, I think that means beginning with our industrial forge. It is the largest thing in here. We do not want to build this base tall because we don't want to mess with the beautiful silhouette. So I think if the forge could be tucked either in here, it's bigger than a hexagon, so it probably can't, or on top, which maybe even 1 level higher. But we're going to put ceilings in here, and then we'll leap up to the next level and find a home for our industrial forge. It is not hexagonal. Ooh, and it does not like snapping to a hexagon. Our base is not friendly to the snap points, guys, and I believe this is bigger than a hexagon. So, rather than placing it here, or even getting to tuck it on the inside, which would have been cool, we're going to build up a level. And that's going to be fine, because the base we build around the outside is going to be at least this tall, and we'll want to work out a easy way to go from inside the base to the forge that doesn't involve the polygonal tubes because it's just one floor we'll be going up. So let's come up another half floor here. We'll put the industrial forge, and then maybe we'll go up another half floor to the roof. Let's add in a little bit, guys, because what we're going to be doing after this is building the structure around the outside, and we want to build off the center. This might give us another set of angles to work with, and we have two different designs. We have a top and a bottom. I kind of like that grippy version, so we'll switch to those. Hey, can I make a request? Anyone make mods? Get rid of this big orange gun I use in creative mode and give me a Bob Ross style paintbrush. How about that? Hey, that looks good. Yeah, look at those legs dangle. Oh, it's really good. Guys, the structure looks great. I think this is centered. We're going to place it, and we're going to get some white paint on it. We're going to try that with all our big structures and see how they take the paint. All 6 regions. Hey, you know what? That's pretty good. Now, I'm really glad in retrospect that we built down with these ramps. If we had tried building up, this thing would not have fit, or it would be hovering somehow. So it's big. It's asymmetrical. It's wider than it is deep, and it doesn't fit neatly in a hexagon. So if you find a better way to do this, please show me. Hey, looks good at night. I made one last tweak here, guys, to the positioning, and we will winterize this once again. Take that yucky yellow sheen off it. Good stuff. You could build this differently, guys. You could definitely settle this into the space below if you wanted to and have it more hidden. I like it mounted up high. You could also expand this so that you have light from the forge coming down into this area, but I like our little hidden hatch. I think it's going to be good, and you can choose kind of how to center it, but we need to build a way up to access this forge from the inside of the base. So one of my logical thoughts with this design, we're building a polar outpost, so let's get in that mindset. This giant forge, you might say harness heat from it, but you would probably keep it on the outside of your base. It's going to be insanely hot, and your generator is something that ought to probably be hidden away. That's a loud thing. So if we get in the world of imagination, and by the way, we're going to try and choose which surface here works for us, and then we're going to wall in this middle section. I think the inside out version matches up well with our ramps and our polygonal tubes as well. So we'll do this 11 out of 12 sides. We're going to choose the entrance for us that matches up with the dial, and that's why I relined up our version of the forge. And we're going to have it be visible from inside the base, so you can look up and see this forge burning. And I think that's going to be cool. It's going to sort of be like a torch and match this sort of spirally pointed look that we got. All in all, I like it. I wish this forge was 4 stories tall at this point. But now we have a nice little entrance. And to return to my thought about the world of imagination, we're building this base at the bottom of our tower, and it's going to be like a working and living simultaneous space. You know, when I picture a polar outpost, there's bunk beds on the wall. What we want is to imagine this space as if someone's living in it and this is their environment. So this, for us, that's going to be a good entrance. I think we keep this staircase, and we'll build off it. And this also, to use our imagination, would work like this. You'd have this minimalist outdoor one, and the snow, you know, hollow stairs so the snow doesn't drift up. And above, we'll add in a hatch frame once we're a little more confident in where our next staircase goes. But I think this pops us up right here in front of our little room, and this staircase we will keep. However, instead of sending it down, we no longer need to. We're going to hide the generator up on this floor. What we can do now is take this staircase and go up and have this be the path that the people who live and work in this outpost use to get up to their forge, and that you will use as well if you make this your place for imagination. I think that's pretty great. One staircase on either side, and this has an added sort of secret benefit. We've invented these amazing polygonal tubes in part 2, and they provide the only way up and down and around this base, which is great. It's a cool way to move around, and we're going to have a hidden entrance under this giant forge, and it's going to be an imagination place. It's going to imaginarily pull heat from this forge to, you know, warm the base. So we'll add ventilation down there, and that's what that room will look like. And if anybody comes to your base, they're going to walk in your main entrance, up one staircase, and they're going to see another staircase that goes to a forge, but they're not going to see any way to get up and down to your aviary. Well, until they see this video and they know the secret as well. But it is too cool. Alright, the secret's out. Maybe it's not a secret. Maybe you already know how to do a polygonal tube. I don't know. But it feels magnificent and new to me. It really is a cool discovery. So we have to get back to the point, my friends. We have a generator to place, and we want it to be tucked away. And I think this, under this staircase over here, is as good a place as any. Everywhere else, we're going to have glass that gives you a good view of the forge. But let's hide it where we have to have our staircase up to the forge. We have a lot of things to put in here, and the generator, I think, is the next one. I meant in every video in this series to have tips and tricks, and I think the time has come for that, guys. We're going to try one tip that I thought of and a trick that I'm thinking about. So this generator won't go where I want it, and I think if we use a quarter wall, and any wall will do, but if we snap so it's straight to the edge that we're trying to lock into, I think that's going to let us go right over this triangle and keep this thing straight without it snapping. You know, we're taking advantage of this cool new feature. Yeah, now we can keep it straight right out here, but that is still frustratingly far. I would like this to be tucked away. I would like to tuck it. I think, now guys, so that is a tip. And now we're going to try a trick. The wall was a tip. Complete. One tip done. Put it in the bank. Now, if we center this, don't get too ambitious. Now we try a trick. Remove the stairs and put them back. Hey, we tricked the game. Okay. We can even be more ambitious. Let's pop this out one more time, guys. And let's see how far it can be tucked. Too ambitious? Yeah, I think not. Excellent. Excellent work. One tip. Place this tiny wall behind, which you can now remove. And one trick. Remove the stairs and replace them later. And what I will do is close this entire thing in and have our generator be well hidden away so that in our imagination, all the sound it makes is not going to keep us up at night in our bunk beds. At the moment, we're going to shed a little light on the situation. This is too close. It's going to mess up the wall I want to place here. Nice burp, Rick. I talk through burps sometimes. It's awful. We have lights that we're going to tuck just in this little nook back here. Everything should be powered up now. And we can hop in. Shed a little light on the situation. Excellent. Then we'll close this off with glass walls. And done and done. Now we move on to surrounding this entire thing with walls and getting all these stations in here. We've done the hard work now, guys. This looks good. We're going to stop in a minute here and take a look at Ark's new moon cycles. I tried to do a moment of zen, and it turned into a rant about the moon. You know, I've been watching this thing for a while, guys, and I've been wanting to use creative mode to check out the phases of the moon. Figured it would serve as a good meditative moment for us too. Yeah, look at that, guys. It looks amazing through the spyglass. Well, thank you guys for hanging out. I really appreciate it. We have a big build ahead, and this is just a nice little break. But there's a problem here. It's an astronomical problem. That is right, Donkey Penguin. I get to watch the sun and moon set every day here because we are on the, what is this, the west coast of the map, and the moon has a cycle, and its face changes, which is fine, but it's always in the same position relative to the sun. In reality, in our world, if the moon is full, that means as the sun sets, the moon ought to be right here, rising. Right here, that's logic. That's logic, because that's a light bulb, and that's a mirror, right? That's one simple way to look at it. Or a disco ball, a spherical mirror. So if the moon was in this position here, we should really be seeing just light on the right side of it, because half the moon is always lit up, but for the half that's facing us to be lit up. The moon can't be there, guys. The moon has to be here. I love you guys, Ark, for thinking about making the world more dynamic and giving us more of a real world feel. Seasons would be cool, but look what you've given us. You've given us a moon that changes, but you just keep it right here every darn day, moving around the sky. It's full. It should be rising right over here. Give me some logic. Give me some brains. Look it, this is a brilliant idea, and it's cool to see them both at the same time, but it's Earth, not Tatooine, right? Or it's Ark. Nevertheless, see, now the moon should have traversed the entire sky and should be setting right here. Just a little rant. It wouldn't be that hard for you guys to fix it, right? If you can do this, you can do that. Just move where the sphere is. Up to you. But right now, kind of stupid. Just saying. Oh, I love the moon. I love the sun. My first word in the whole world as a baby was moon. I pointed up at it and just said it. You know, I still do it to this day. That was with my parents, now I'm with my partner, and on a random day I'll look up at the sky and just go, moon. I may have forgotten about this sign. The flight deck can wait. My buds are coming to play tonight and I want the first floor done. This is not an art show. This is Ark and Make Me a Base. That was science, by the way, not art, and also a rant. Not particularly scientific, but you understand. So in order to get this done, guys, we need to get this protection, this home symbol on the inside, and make a closed space that works with our strange design. And I tried so hard to get these ramps in with the ones with this angle, but there are no triangular pieces that match them. So we're going to struggle to make this thing look good and symmetrical. I tried hard to make these work, and I just can't do it. The wall on the outside has to be either 1.5 or a half wall, and neither of those work. What works well is building up with one wall and then coming to meet your spires with triangles. That's from this size of platform. If you go bigger, it'll be a little different, but just like when we were building the polygonal tubes, this will work out perfect if you look for the right connections. And take a look. All we need to do is replace the piece on the right with something that closes in that big ugly gap that's going to let in all the cold winter air. I like to keep you with me for the experimentation because that's when we figure things out and we have a hard task ahead of us. This, if we swap it with a metal piece, this corner roof, that's going to give us the hint of our spiral built into our base. I like that. So we're going to do all of our corners like that. Also going to use more metal, I think, on the outside, but our silhouette is good. All right, one more like this, and let's take a quick peek. Hey, pretty good. We're not, I think, hey, maybe we are done. But what we have to do is fill this space right here, guys. And this is unorthodox, but if my experience with polygonal tubes is anything to go on, we are going to be able to find the perfect piece to fill these gaps while giving ourselves an entrance up to the forge from the inside and from the outside in. If you're working at the forge, we are going to take advantage of the staircase we've already built, and then in these areas, glass, especially here, where we want to feature the forge in clear view. Alright guys, well, we're going to try the hatch frame in here. We're looking for the roof symbol. Looks like we don't have it yet. That shows us the base is perfectly enclosed. Oh, we do have it. Oh, that's good. It's partial. We still have to close the gaps up here. Oh, yes, and a large hole in the back of this outpost. Let me patch this up. Be right back. I like this concept of the alternating triangles, metal and glass. Metal and glass, especially now that we've chosen these pieces here for our square corners. That is nice, and I think it's going to let us close in this space up here. Before we do that, we need to work out how our path to our forge is going to work. We have built this staircase. In the end, we need to build glass in this section. It's going to be one of the highlights of the base that you enter, and you have this massive forge looming over your head in this epic location. And I think glass is going to be a simple enough way to do it. What is the space we have here? Is it going to be 2 triangles that will fill this? One upside down, one right side up. And do we need some other pieces to accomplish our goal. Looking at it from this side, it's a little more obvious. We need the pyramid, the hexagon triangles. And that solves that problem, guys. So in 5 of these 6 spots, we are going to be able to do this exact pattern. Upside down, equilateral, another, and then the corner roof, which is excellent. So we can do them in any order, and for us, we're just going to leave one, and we're going to create a sort of entrance to the outside, and then we'll go put a hatch frame in downstairs and go check for that environment protection bonus, the little house symbol that we so desperately seek inside the entirety of this base. This is a near perfect build. I said it last time, but all of these spaces but one have been closed off in a very elegant fashion with no clipping or mistakes, and now we just simply have to build ourselves a little way in and out to the forge from the interior. We'll finish this thing off with a hatch frame. So let's begin with a door right here. I think we'll choose this one. That will work for me. And a glass triangle on top of the door does a really nice job with another next to it. Of course, this is how you do it. Unfortunately, though, we don't have a piece that will do this job. Dedoy. It's a square. Excellent. We'll just drop a little sloped wall underneath. And guys, we need a door and a hatch frame. And then we check for this roof symbol. And we can move on. And that is how it's done. Come on in, guys. Come on in. It works. No hole in the back. Hatch frame in place. We did it. All that is left now is to dive into the remaining parts of my inventory. We have crafting, cooking, and sleeping areas to make. Have you ever seen a building this cool, guys? The Aviator will be pleased. The bird cage. I made a sign. I put plumbing. And here we go. A little bed. I'm going to make it quick, guys. He left me a sign. He wants me to get this done by tonight. So let's take a look around. Little cooking area, fridges, grill, map, industrial cooker, some old school smithy, chemistry bench, fabricator, vaults. Hiding in here, prepare for lag, is our generator. Guys, this part was easy. You figure it out for yourself. And back around to our bunk beds. But this, I told you this is the most important section. We're going to go ahead and add a door here. I want this to look like a side chute. Just like a little, what would you call it? A utility closet. That sort of thing. So we're going to go ahead, put a door on it. That's good. Excellent. We've got the view of the forge up above. We now have these doors here. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Alright guys, let's step into this room. Now take a look. I added some red and blue lights. You noticed? There's one on either side. They are tucked into these gorgeous little nooks that we have behind these glass walls with dark full metal walls on the other side. And what we're going to do now is the air conditioner. I think this is useful for you still for breeding. Is that correct? But for us, it is subterfuge. It is a distraction. It is a disguise. So whoever looks in this room doesn't know its true purpose. The secret passage to the top of your aviary. Let's slap in a few of these and go from there. For me, this works. We're going to put a third one in, like so. And then we have to remember now with all these open shafts, which one we are supposed to go up. Alright, friends. I think I actually blocked off the wrong ones. We're going to try this one right here. I think the one to the left is a dead end, and the one to the right might actually work. But it gets a little hard to keep track of which is which. One thing I did a little higher up is mark on the right with glass, so that in the section where I only have 3 of these polygonal tubes, I could at least tell which one I can't afford to have another roof clip into. Pay attention. And so here's our glass on the right, and this let me keep track of, okay, I can't have anything clipping into this if I want to use it to travel through. That makes some of these sections where they come very close a little tricky, and my middle is still kind of work in progress, but this goes all the way to the top. And next episode we sit down to work on a glass aviary that is going to be in this section that we are circling around off to our right, and it's going to be great. And this is the tip. That one went to the tip top. It never even stopped. I never even stopped at the middle layer. Okay. Express elevator to the top, guys. It's the next episode. Fatso, chicken legs, what is it? 4 eyes, chicken legs, Fatso, buckwheat, and Eddie. That's the combination. There's 5 of these guys, and they need a home, as does our sweet Pelagornis Enid. And many ways to finish this off, guys. I think what you'll do, if you don't need your tubes to go all the way to the top, is just cap it like this. This is how my original design looked, and I think it's excellent. And at some point, lower down in this tube, you will have your exit and make an easy way to get into and out of our aviary, which comes up next episode. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed part 3. In part 4, we dive into the aviary proper. Join me for that, and this series will be complete. You guys are heroes for making it this far.